We are deeply honored this morning to have the federal judge, Sam Der-Yeghiayan, as our commencement speaker. Judge Der-Yeghiayan is the United States District Court Judge for the Northern District of Illinois. He was nominated by the President of the United States as a federal judge and was unanimously confirmed by the U.S. Senate in 2003, a moment that he describes as miraculous. He was the first Armenian immigrant federal judge in the history of our country. Judge Der-Yeghiayan has had a distinguished legal career as an attorney for the U.S. Justice Department under the U.S. Attorney General's Honors Program. For 20 consecutive years, Judge Der-Yeghiayan received outstanding performance ratings as a U.S. Justice Department attorney from different attorney generals of the United States. He told me he did not want me to read all of his other numerous awards and recognitions because I would be cutting into his time. Since joining the federal bench in 2003, Judge Der-Yeghiayan has presided over numerous complex and high-profile cases, both civil and criminal. But he came to Evangel, then college, in the fall of 1971 from Lebanon. And during his time here was our star soccer player. It is a special honor to have Judge Der-Yeghiayan this year on the 40th anniversary of his own graduation in 1975, when he earned a BA in political science. He received his Juris Doctorate from the University of New Hampshire Law School in 1978. And in 2008, he was awarded Evangel's Distinguished Alumnus Award. Judge Der-Yeghiayan met his wife Becky here at Evangel. We are honored to have you with us this morning, Becky. They have been married for 40 years, attend an Assemblies of God church, and have been blessed with 2 children and 3 beautiful grandchildren. I spent a day recently in Chicago with Judge Der-Yeghiayan and Becky, and I asked how it was he ever found his way to Evangel from Beirut, Lebanon. It is an extraordinary story that he will share. What followed has been an amazing story of God's gracious hand on his life. And so it is my distinct privilege to introduce to you this morning our 2015 commencement speaker and 1975 graduate of Evangel, Samuel Der-Yeghiayan.
See, Mom, the president and me. Hashtag Evangel Commencement. Hashtag the speaker extraordinaire. Class of 2015, welcome to your Hasta la Vista eviction ceremony. Evangel has decided not to renew your contract. They don't want you to stay. They want you out. They have no room for you. They need the space. There are freshies standing in line and waiting to get in. In baseball, they call it 3 strikes and you're out. In football, they call it getting ejected. In soccer, they call it getting red carded. In college, they use the inconspicuous term commencement ceremony so as not to hurt your feelings. Since you are citizens of different states, your landlord needed a federal judge to preside over this eviction ceremony to make it official. The court is now in session. Please come to order. With regard to your contract with Evangel University, the court makes the following findings of fact and conclusions of law. 1. Evangel has a valid and binding contract. 2. You forgot to read the fine print. 3. Evangel has fulfilled all of its obligations under the contract. And 4, your obligations commence today with this send-off ceremony. Therefore, based upon all of the evidence and the undisputed record, it is the conclusion of the court that there has been no breach of contract on the part of Evangel University. Notwithstanding this finding, you can still visit campus, preferably at homecoming. You can like the Crusaders and basketball coach Steve Jenkins on Facebook. And according to Alumni Relations Director Chuck Cox, you can definitely send money. But your residency days are over. Yes, parents out there, this might come as a shock to you, but practically speaking, your kids are being kicked out of college. I too was once evicted from this great institution we call Evangel. I sat where you are sitting right now. Well, kind of. The place wasn't as fancy then. You see, we did not have indoor plumbing. I received the same diploma you are about to receive. Well, not exactly. Mine said college, not university. And we ate the same cafeteria food. Well, sort of. In my days, the menu consisted of only 2 semi-edible choices: chicken fried steaks and Jell-O. Looking at your faces, some things never change. By contrast, I did not pay the same tuition that you did. Yes, mine was a whole lot cheaper. Evangel was my first real home in the United States, and I did not want to leave. But, like a loving parent, Evangel told me it was time to go. I reluctantly left, but I survived. And I've got news for you. If I can make it, so can you. By now, if my remarks have not put you to sleep, you might have noticed that I have been speaking with an accent. Let me tell you the reason. When I was a teenager in the country of Lebanon, I met an Assemblies of God missionary by the name of Bill Ilniski, and I started attending his church. One day, Reverend Ilniski turned to me and out of the blue said, "I think you should attend college at Evangel." I asked him where Evangel was located. He said it was located in Springfield, Missouri. When he saw that, it did not help me much. He decided to show it to me on a map. I had never heard of Missouri, but on the map, it was only a couple of inches from Chicago. Now, I had heard of Chicago with Al Capone and all that exciting stuff. So I told him the ideas sounded real good to me, and soon thereafter, I arrived in Springfield, Missouri to attend college with $50 to my name. You know, when I left Lebanon, I did not have an accent whatsoever. 4 years later, I graduated from Evangel with an Ozark Armenian accent that has stayed with me ever since. Now, I'm going to tell you that I have a note here that was given to me before I got on stage. But before I tell you what it says, first let me thank Evangel University. I am deeply grateful to Evangel University for taking me in and helping me shape my life. I was very fortunate that Evangel University takes pride in the diversity of its student body. After extensive deliberations, the members of Evangel's admissions committee decided to admit me when they realized that the incoming class lacked one type of background to satisfy the diversity requirements under federal law. You see, they did not have a good soccer player. I'll read the note now. It was handed to me from Evangel Public Relations Director Paul Lagstone. It reads, "The person who owns the white Cadillac with the state of Hawaii plates BQXO Doreen, you are parked in the space reserved for the commencement speaker. Your car is being towed." Thank you, President Taylor, for your kind introduction, and thank you for inviting me. I am excited to be back home, and it is an extra pleasure for me to congratulate each one of you, your relatives, and your friends who are here for this very special celebration. Your diploma is a tremendous accomplishment. It is a testament to your potential to achieve great things. It gives you and your parents a sense of relief that all the money invested and the sacrifices made were not in vain. Your diploma is a symbol of the excellent and personalized education you received at Evangel. And together with the depth of your character, it will help you significantly in life. I know it helped me. Proverbs 1:3 talks about doing what is right, what is just, and what is fair. At Evangel, you have matured as individuals. You have learned about certain values such as compassion, honesty, integrity, and a strong work ethic. You will carry these traits and values with you regardless of your vocation or location. You are now ambassadors for Evangel University. As you serve in this capacity, your mission is to make a positive impact by your example. Exercise any discretionary authority you have with compassion. If you sat in one of Professor Brian Sanders's pre-law classes, you would have learned that in the legal profession, abuse of discretion is not justifiable. The same is true in any profession. As you go out in the world, whether as religious leaders, business executives, or nonprofit workers, dream big, but act wisely. In our efforts to make an impact in life, we often lose focus and embark upon projects that are wasteful and non-productive. You see, a good soccer player does not chase a ball that is not reachable, because doing so will exhaust the player and leave his or her teammates vulnerable. I know my Evangel soccer teammate, Dr. Grant Jones, agrees with me. Your education at Evangel has given you the basic tools to make the right decision, to make the right call, and to be a team player. When given the opportunity, invent with humility. Govern with a sense of fairness. Interact with respect, and always act with compassion. As you start your journey, will there be setbacks? Possibly, but you can overcome those setbacks with God's guidance and the solid foundation you have received at Evangel. 2 Chronicles 26:5 instructs us that as long as we seek the Lord, God will give us success. Success, however, is not measured by one's paycheck or title, but by the impact one makes in the world and the example one sets for others. Einstein once said, "I genuinely love the idea of trying to be not a man of success, but a man of virtue. If in everything we do, we act in a virtuous manner, we have already succeeded in life." A person's job, particularly in the public sector, has a significant impact upon family life, and as such, it is wise to consult with family members before making a major employment decision. Speaking of jobs, I'm going to share you an insider information because you're all part of my Evangel family. As I was going through the complex nomination and confirmation process for a federal judgeship, my wife, who I met at Evangel, told me that she would go along with the program under 3 conditions. 1, that she would refuse to call me Your Honor. 2, that when I come home late and enter the bedroom, she would not get out of bed and stand up for me. And 3, that I would not be allowed to wear my black robe anywhere inside the house. As President Taylor told you, my wife Becky is here with me today. We've been married for 40 years. I would like to acknowledge her. And with my wife is her sister Cindy Johnson and her husband Brad. And next to them is my best friend Marty Spiegel. Judge Spiegel lives in Springfield, and his wife Mary. Thank you for being here. Wherever this degree from Evangel takes you, remember that your occupation is only part of what you have to offer. I challenge you to volunteer in the neighborhood, at a community center, at a school, at a hospital, or at a place of worship to help others and to help make this country even better. Whenever you help a person, my advice to you is to do so without any conditions or expectations. My mom often tells me, "Son, do a favor and throw it in the ocean." Those words have had a profound impact on my life. Try it, and you will see the difference in your life. You are living in an age of ever-accelerating technology. Even I get excited about the latest iPhone. These innovations do not mean that we have to stop honoring old traditions. We have a tendency to let the computers do the research for us, add for us, and spell check for us. But it is important to know how to add and how to spell. We need to know our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. These technological advances are great, but at the same time, I encourage you to think about the human elements of creativity, knowledge, reason, and discretion. Part of my duties as a judge is to resolve conflicts. Nowadays, there is conflict everywhere. There is conflict between nations, organizations, families, and individuals. Your generation will have a vital role to play in deciding whether conflicts are resolved or escalated, whether the rule of law prevails or not, and for that matter, whether the planet is preserved or destroyed. I have faith in your generation, and I'm confident that you will use your God-given wisdom and sound judgment in meeting all challenges ahead. Speaking of conflicts, I'm reminded of a story, but before I tell you the story, let me warn those graduates who are going into the ministry. Please do not try this at your home churches. It is only a story. A couple was married for 70 years, which is rare, but every single day of their married life, they had fights, which might not be so rare. The wife dies at the age of 92 and arrives at the pearly gates. She is met by St. Peter, who tells her welcome, but also tells her that she must answer one question correctly before she is admitted into heaven. St. Peter asks her to spell the word love. She spells it correctly, L-O-V-E. St. Peter congratulates her and tells her she is in. Right then, the iPhone of St. Peter rings. He is needed in the cafeteria. There is a food fight. They ran out of chicken fried steaks and Jell-O. He turns to the woman and says, if she wouldn't mind watching the gates for him. He tells, I'll be right back, you know the drill. She agrees. A few minutes later, her husband, who is so heartbroken over losing his wife, that he dies and arrives at the pearly gates. He sees his wife there. He is excited. He says, honey, I'm so happy to see you. I couldn't live without you. I want to spend eternity with you. She tells him, not so fast. There are rules here. You must go through an admissions process. You must answer a question correctly. You must spell a word correctly. And then she smiles and says, spell Czechoslovakia. If only he hadn't relied on autocorrect. I know that you have an exciting day ahead of you, graduation parties, expensive dinners, time with family and friends. But in closing, I'm going to ask you one question. What is your talent? Take a moment and think about your talent together with your passions and your values, and then ask yourself, how can I use my talent in the service of others? Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless Evangel University. May God bless the United States of America. This court is now adjourned.